Hi, and welcome to 3 Things in 3 Minutes. I'm Nersi. Today we are going to be talking about the mind from Pandasaurus games. It plays 2 to 4 players, and depending on how well you do in the game, it can be maybe 5 minutes or it can go up to half an hour. And this is an interesting game, some might call it even just an experience, in which players are cooperating together to, you have a hand of cards, the number of cards you have in your hand gets bigger as the game progresses through each level, and all the players are trying to lay out their cards in ascending order. The cards are numbered from 1 through 100, and just one at a time, players lay down their cards, and if you go out of order, you lose a life, you lose all your lives, you lose the game. The trick to the game is that you are trying to lay them down in order without seeing what one another has and without actually directly communicating about what's in your hand. So you have to start to interpret people's body language and their intent and their speed to try to get a sense of what they have in their hand, and that's really the core of the game. And so, things I like about the game is takes seconds to explain. And in fact, one of the suggestions is don't even explain the game, just start going. I basically told you how to play most of the rules of the game so you can get into it pretty quickly. And then when it gets down to it, it is a game about trying to understand and learn people. So it makes for a good icebreaker or a way to get to know people or a way to just have a break in between other games to sit and think about how you all function as gamers. And from that aspect, it's kind of interesting because it does present sort of an interesting social experiment to see how well you do in terms of talking with one another. A few things to consider about the game. The game does play pretty quickly, and depending on how good you are at reading each other, you can play the cards pretty quickly. And the game wants you to sort of be in tune with one another. That does get broken up because you have to shuffle the deck back every time you finish one of the rounds so that you have all 100 cards again. And that really does sort of break up the flow in the game. It's not a big deal, but the game is otherwise pretty smooth. That breaks it up quite a bit. And some people might find the game just gimmicky. The idea that with the mind you all have a sort of shared understanding and consciousness might seem a little gimmicky to some people. So how much enjoyment you get out of this game really takes the right group. Some groups might really get into the idea of the theme of trying to become attuned with one another. Other people might say, you know, that's it, and not be terribly interested in it. So keep that in mind when you're deciding with whom you're going to play this game. So, in summary, it is a quick game that is easy to explain. It gets broken up a little bit by the shuffling, but otherwise flows pretty quickly. It does have an interesting experiment with trying to figure out how to read and get to know people, and depending on how well you do that, the game can drag out or it can go pretty quickly. And the enjoyment really just depends on your crowd and how much they'd get out of it. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment and subscribe.